So I'm just going to be really honest here. Fixing skinny fat is not as simple as you might think. And I'm not trying to overcomplicate it, because that's quite the opposite actually. So if you're skinny fat, you've got body fat you want to lose, and you've got muscle that you want to gain. So the reason it's not simple is if you are skinny fat and you go straight onto a bulk, then you're going to gain body fat. The areas you dislike, like the love handles, the side boobs, for me it's the fat around my arms, gets worse. Then you kind of have to make yourself look worse before you get better. And if you're skinny fat, you're already starting with fat you don't want, so going on a bulk isn't really going to do much. And even if you do gain a substantial amount of muscle, you're still going to kind of look just a little bit skinny fat, right? I'm speaking from experience, I've done this before. So then you think to yourself, well, what about if I just lose the fat first, which is a logical choice. I'm going to go on a cut, I'm going to do some cardio, I'm going to go do some gym classes, lift light weights, get toned, whatever, you cut your calories down, you do a cut like everyone else normally does. And you might lose a little bit of body fat, but you kind of just look the same because you're still kind of slim because you're skinny fat. And then the body fat comes down a little bit, but you feel like you're getting smaller, and you probably are. And then even if it goes well and you stick to it and you don't mess up, you're just going to look like, you know, what's that weird creature? Nightmare Before Christmas? I don't know, the skinny one. I don't know his name. You're going to look skinny. You're going to look like a scarecrow. And that's annoying, that's frustrating, it's demoralizing if you're trying to fix skinny fat overall. So it's like, well, what do you do? So it's not as simple as a traditional cut. It's not as simple as just going on to a bulk. So the best plan of action in this case is a recomposition. If you've watched any of my other videos, I talk about recompositions a lot because they do work really well. But again, you know, if you go and ask ChatGPT how to do a recomp, it's going to give you some good advice and probably some conflicting advice. It's never really that definitive. And I don't know about you, I don't want to waste my time putting loads of effort, being disciplined in my food, going to the gym and realizing, oh, actually I did that a bit wrong and I didn't really get anywhere. Maybe you've already done that. Maybe that's why you're on YouTube looking at videos like this. So a recomposition is going to be the best way to go about it. But then again, it's not as simple as you might think, because you need to make sure that you're adjusting with it. If you just eat, and just in case you don't know, a recomposition is just to lose body fat and gain muscle at the same time. If you ask for advice on how to do it from like Google or AI, it's going to tell you to eat at maintenance, and then it's going to give you very vague workout advice that may or may not be ideal for you depending on your genetics. Jesus Christ, man, how much space do you want? Come on now. Anyway, so a recomposition, I've played around with them. I've done them personally 3 times, and I've helped over 203 skinny fat men do them. Whee! So I've got quite a lot of experience in trialing them out and following them and adjusting them and sort of refining them, so that if someone came to me and said, I want to fix skinny fat, can I have your help? I can go, bosh, let's do this, you'll get the best result possible. So the whole point of this video is I want to break that down so it's a little bit easier for you to manage and follow. Because even though fat loss and getting shredded is simple on paper, you know, eat less, move more, go to the gym, blah, blah, and that is true. You know, you don't need much more than that, but the strategy to get it done, the application in the real world, genetically specific to you, that's when it becomes a little less simple. That's why some people with great genetics can just go to the gym, do whatever, and go, wow, I look amazing. Yeah, guys, just eat less and move more, do some press-ups, and they might be right for them. But for me, I had terrible genetics. I'll show you what I look like. I was skinny, had stubborn body fat around my lower belly, around my arms. My lower back was the worst area, and I just couldn't lose it. It would not shift. And then I'd go on a bulk and I'd get a double chin, I'd look puffier, my belly and side boobs would come out, but my arms didn't really grow. And I was like, well, this ain't working, even though I was doing exactly what everyone else was doing. So a recomposition, how would you do it? What's the best way to go about it? I'm sick to death talking about the calories. If you watch any of my videos, you already know what I'm going to do. You need to know your numbers, right? You need to know your calories. So you can follow a meal plan. A meal plan does work. Obviously, healthy food's great, all that kind of stuff. But the bottom line is, if you ain't hitting the numbers you need to hit, you're not going to get the result. And when I say hitting the numbers you need to hit, I'm on about eating a slight deficit from your maintenance. So if you go, right, my maintenance calories is 2,500, oh, I need to get shredded quickly, I'm just going to eat 800, I'm going to fast, I'm going to eat 1,200. It's too low too soon. You get the drop on the scales, but you won't necessarily lose the fat, and you will definitely start to lose muscle if you eat too low, especially if it's too soon. So a smaller calorie deficit is going to be ideal, meaning we want to eat just below that maintenance. So let's say your maintenance is 2,500, we take 500 off, you're at 2,000. That is going to be about a pound of fat per week. That is super beneficial for skinny fat guys, because the deficit isn't too big that you're going to lose muscle strength and performance, but you're still in a deficit definitively that you're going to lose body fat. So that already is going to help save you a lot of time. If you don't know those numbers, free nutritional blueprint, download that. You can use AI. It's really weird. I don't have a beef with AI, but I've got a few friends and a few clients that have used it for a few things, and it gives you different answers every time, and it's almost like an echo chamber that just wants to agree with you. So just to make sure you get that right, you can download that there. It's guaranteed. Download that, it's free. 2,000 people clicked it. It's cool, isn't it? So yeah, get your numbers right. That'll show you how to do your macros, how to adjust it, how to set it up, all that kind of stuff. You need to know those numbers. I wish it was, you know, like as simple as me going, hey guys, have a chicken, broccoli and rice and spin in a circle 3 times. There you go, done. You need to know those numbers. That is what, if you think about it logically, right? What's a bulk? You eat more food, you lift weights. What's a cut? You eat less food, you move more. It's about the food, right? So the numbers need to be right. If you're skinny fat, you're trying to lose body fat and keep muscle, get those numbers right. Hopefully I've said that enough. So that's the number side of thing. The strategy, how you're gonna stick to that is you're gonna track it. Okay, you're gonna get MyFitnessPal, you can use NutriBullet, NutriCheck, you can write your notepad, or if you go, oh, I don't wanna track, bro, I would advise you to, because that helps you learn and make adjustments. But if you really don't want to, or you just quite frankly don't have the mental capacity, that's no problem. Do a meal plan. But the meal plan needs to be built around those numbers, because if it's a little bit too over, you're going to maintain. If it's too high over, you're going to gain body fat. And if it's too low, too soon, too often, you're going to burn out and binge and go backwards. Those numbers are the foundation. Track it. That's strategy number 1. Strategy number 2, to make it a little bit more manageable, because people say, oh, fat loss shouldn't be sustainable, and they're right. But if you've got 30 pounds to lose and it's going to take you 30 weeks, it needs to be pretty sustainable to get through those 30 weeks. So to make it sustainable, we hit your calorie deficit, and then once per week, providing you're still hitting your workouts, which I'll get to in a minute. If you're still hitting your workouts once per week, you can have your refeed day, which will be a calorie day at your maintenance. So it'll be low calorie, low calorie, low calorie maintenance. What that does is it breaks the pattern so you don't get metabolic adaptation. It will boost your energy and your recovery and your performance, which again is needed to get results. And, sorry, should probably concentrate on driving at the same time, isn't it? And it's gonna boost your digestion, it's gonna help speed things up in your GI tract, it's gonna give you more glycogen for the gym. There's a lot of benefits to it. But mentally, strategically, it makes it easy to stay on track with your diet, because you can think, oh, you know, I'm fancy a slice of cake, my girlfriend's invited me out for a date night, oh, I gotta hit these calories, and then you're gonna probably say fuck it and go way over. But if you go, oh, I got a refeed day, so on the refeed day, I'll fit that in. And that way you're still making progress, you're not throwing your toys out the pram, and it's sustainable. It works, right? It's what I do to stay in shape. It's what my clients do to get head-turning transformations like this. So it does work. So that's the food side of things, that's that. The next thing is, if you're skinny fat and you do too much cardio, like you just wake up every morning and you do a 45-minute run, which is still great, you're still likely to lose a bit of muscle. Your body, genetically speaking, isn't going to be wanting to hold on a bunch of mass if you've not got it in the first place. So if you're skinny fat and you do a shite load of cardio, you're just going to end up being a smaller version of skinny fat. This is what happened to my client Matthew. You know, he ate less and moved more, and he lost a lot of weight, which is great. But then he got stuck skinny fat. He didn't have muscle. And he still had stubborn body fat. And when I said to him, "What were you doing?" He was like, "I'm doing cardio. I'm eating less. I'm doing all the stuff that's right." And he was disciplined. He's very on it. But you know, his progress wasn't there. So we had to cut down the cardio and start adding in more resistance workouts. And the reason we want more resistance workouts is resistance workouts are going to help you get stronger. And if you're getting stronger and you're hitting your protein, you're hitting your calories, what do you think is going to happen to the muscle? It's going to grow if you're still very new. Like, that's what Reese did. He still gained a lot of muscle. This is entirely done in a recomposition. But if you've got terrible genetics, or you're doing it later in life where there's less likelihood of faster recovery, maybe past 30, 40, 50, then at very least you will keep muscle. And then when you finish that recomp and you get nice and shredded, Aston Martin over there, and you get shredded, then you can reverse diet and start adding some size, and you'll be leaner, stronger and fitter, and already in the right habit and on the right side of things to start gaining muscle. So you see that why there needs to be a strategy. You can't just go, oh, I'm going to eat less and move more, bro. You can try it, and if it works, great, but it probably won't. So you need to pay attention, right? Like me in the road. So the strategy there is track your calories, hit your specific numbers, and then make sure that you're giving yourself room to have more calories on a refeed day to boost energy, stay focused, etc. That's the strategy. When it comes to training, like I said, getting stronger is going to be preferable. You can keep this really simple. You can do 2 upper body days, 1 lower body day. You can do pull, push legs. You can do a full body 3 days a week. It doesn't matter, as long as it works for your schedule, your genetics. So, you know, I got a shit chest, so I need to make sure that my chest workouts are kind of solely focused on chest. So I might have a separate shoulder day. But it needs to be specifically around your genetics and your build and what you're trying to achieve. The bottom line is, if you're getting better in the gym, improving your form, improving your intensity, adding reps, adding weight, and keeping the workout routine the same instead of jumping from program to program, so you can actually get the benefit for the program you're on. Because if you go, oh, I'm going to do this program and then jump to that program, you haven't done it long enough to get the result. So keep the training really simple. My training right now is literally pull, push, legs. I'm getting stronger on everything every single week. I'm adding reps, I'm improving my form, and it's still working. And I've been on the same workout split for probably about 2 years now, and it's just working and constantly improving. And if it isn't, bloody hell, don't want any crashes on camera. And if it isn't working, I know what to adjust. It's really simple. That's it. Get stronger, track your calories, be strategic in the way that you stick to it. And the reason I say it's not as simple as people think is I haven't even begun to tap in to why, oh God, hang on, trying to park, not hit people and close up a YouTube video is not easy. Right, oh, we're getting some stairs now. Do look a bit weird with a stick sticking out with a camera on it. Anyway, so I can get a side tangent now. Oh, the police are there. Oh shit. Anyway, like and subscribe, but those things I've given you there should be simple to follow. I hope this video helps. Probably not as good as it should have been because I've been very preoccupied in the road. Why am I filming these in a car? That's probably the problem, isn't it? I should probably just sit at a desk and film it, but it's a bit boring that way. So download your free nutritional blueprint, like and subscribe, and I hope this video helps you.